I'm going to start today's video with a call the fire department got. There's nothing special about it. It was actually a false alarm. If anything, it's got a bit of humor, but it raises a question that I've wondered about for a while now.
This first wing's on fire. Time is 18:42. Hanover 139 Firecom, go ahead. Roger, Hanover acknowledge and page. Time is 18:44.
Firecom, Hanover Pump 9.
Hanover Pump 9 Firecom, go ahead.
Pump 9 is responding to Hanover Heights School. 8 on board, belted.
Roger, Pump 9 with 8 to 524 13th Street, cross streets 15th Ave, 16th Ave for swings on fire. Caller was going to meet you there. Time is 18:50. Over Pump 9 Firecom.
Firecom, this is Pump 9.
Pump 9, caller just called 911 back and stated that this is not a fire. Again, this is not a fire. Kids were moving caution tape around to make it look like they were on fire.
This is not a fire. Kids were playing with caution tape, made it look like a fire. We're still going to check it out.
Affirmative, time is 18:51.
Firecom, Hanover Rescue 1.
Rescue 1 Firecom, go ahead.
Hanover Rescue 1 responding, 1 on board, belted.
Roger, Rescue 1 with 1 to 524 13th Street, cross streets 15th Ave, 16th Ave, time is 18:51.
Rescue 1, Tower 2. Go ahead, Tower 2. We're just going to stand by here at the hall then. Copy that, standing by. Firecom, Hanover Pump 9.
Pump 9 Firecom, go ahead.
On scene, nothing out of the ordinary at the time.
Roger, Pump 9 on scene, nothing out of the ordinary, time is 18:52.
Firecom, Rescue 1.
Roger, Rescue 1 on scene, time is 18:52. Over 139 Firecom, go ahead. Roger, 139 will be known as Hanover Command, time is 18:54.
Firecom, Hanover Rescue 1.
Hanover Rescue 1 Firecom, go ahead.
Hanover Rescue 1 and Truck 9 return to hall. Command has been terminated. No fire or incident here.
Roger, no fire or incident at this location. Command terminated. Pump 9 Rescue 1 returning to hall. Time is 1900.
Years ago, when automatic fire alarms were becoming popular, and by automatic I mean the alarm company receives indication that the alarm's sounding, and they're the ones that call the fire department. Due to the high number of false alarms that they were getting, I believe that was the time when the fire department started charging for these calls. Now everybody has to pay, but I don't mean because of that, but I mean like everybody has to pay for the fire department to show up now. When I had my car fire several years ago, I was charged $400 per attending vehicle per half hour. So, and not long afterward, I got a bill for $800 from the fire department. The insurance company paid for it. But in this case, the question that I have is, who pays for this call? Do the kids pay for it, their parents or whatever, or the person who called? Or does the school pay for it? Who pays for this call? And this particular incident just kind of brought up another question for me. They received call that it was a false alarm, but they continued anyways. Does somebody have to pay for that because they ended up showing up anyways? Or is it just negated? So the question is, I've had this question for quite a while now. When we had the fire on our stove, opened up all the windows in the house, and there was quite a bit of smoke coming out my bedroom window, so I just kind of stood outside for a while to make sure nobody called the fire department. And I kind of wondered about that too, because if the fire department showed up, who paid for that? Us or the person who called? It's kind of a question I've had for a while. So I wanted to show this just as an example of why I have this question. So heading out, day 2 of the January thaw. As you can see, I really haven't done anything in front of the shelter yet, but I did clean the driveway out. When we get more crap, which is on the way, then I want to make sure everything's cleaned up so nothing's rock hard or anything. So I got the blower out and cleaned out the entire driveway and down to the road, and you can see what the sidewalk looks like here. The snow plows have come through continuously, scraping all the slushy crap off the road, and it's now all over the sidewalks. So, in the previous video, I mentioned how this is one of the typical situations we get with the January thaw, and just like the streets are plowed and sidewalks are done generally first thing in the morning, and if it keeps snowing, then they come out. The plows come out anyways, but the sidewalk plow doesn't come out again until the next day if we get more snow. Well, as you can see here, the side streets have been plowed and sidewalks are 100% completely blocked, but it doesn't matter anyways. You can see where the grader's pushed onto the sidewalk here. Like I say, it doesn't matter anyways because the sidewalk plow hasn't gone through, so the sidewalks are impassable for my mobility scooter. So at this point, I am angry with the town. So, did town give up on the sidewalks or what?
I'm wondering that, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe they got too much overtime in.
No.
Too much overtime and they don't want to pay them anymore.
Government cut back.
Got cut back, right.
It always annoys me when I hear, somebody is slipping and falling and suing the town, and to me that just drives me nuts. People need to accept this is winter, you're gonna fall, it's nobody's fault but your own, and that's the attitude that I have. If I'm going out, then things are gonna happen, right? It's that time of year where everything's an absolute mess. But the problem that I'm seeing at the moment is the town is always driving around. You always see the trucks out and about. So it's not like they don't know what the situation is out there. And I'm not speaking for just me. I'm not the only person in town. There's a lot of mobility scooters in town, and there's several people that actually drive power chairs, and they're disabled to the point where that's the only way they can get around. They can't use a mobility scooter. So these conditions are pretty rough for this type of scooter. I couldn't imagine what a power chair would be like in this, because you drive them with a joystick, and there's a motor on each side. So it's just trying to keep the machine straight would be pretty rough. But I come out to the main sidewalk here, and you can see that the sidewalk plow has been through. It's not quite as obvious here, but later on in the video, when I go towards Tim Hortons, you can clearly see the tracks on top of the slushy, crappy snow. So they have actually done something. But if you look at the conditions, it didn't really help a whole lot. But it's taken some of it up. But my issue is, like I say, not on the main street here, but on other streets, I don't have a choice. I have to drive on the road. So, if I was to get hit by a car, first of all, in general, that would be my fault for being on the road. But, if I lose my scooter gets destroyed, I'm without transportation. That's where this would come in. And I don't like that idea. Like I say, it's winter, things are going to happen. The town is not responsible for Mother Nature. But, like I say, these conditions have existed since yesterday. By now, they should know about it. And using my street as an example, the sidewalk has not been done. I don't have a choice. I have to be on the road. So in this particular case, then I see the town being responsible for that. But later on in this video, when I show that the plow has gone through, and it really didn't improve the condition of the sidewalks any. So that kind of makes things rough as to, you know, who's really to blame here. Because the town did their job, they cleaned off the sidewalk. It didn't really have too much of an effect due to, you know, the specific conditions we have, so it's not their fault. But I can't drive on them because of these conditions, so I'm forced onto the road. You know, we're getting ready to move, okay? We got a lot of things to do. I have to go out today. I don't have a choice. I have to go out.
I gotta escape here. I see a snowbank I can't get through. Oh.
So it's not like I'm going out for a choice. So what's the solution? You know, it's kind of a tough call. And here, you know, it's a small town. I don't even see it as a budget concern because it's midwinter. It was towards the end of the season, you know, our final snowstorm in March or whatever. And surprise, here's some more snow, which, you know, happens quite often. Then I understand it being a budget concern. But midwinter, I don't know. But like I say, if we were continuing to get snow yesterday, then this morning the sidewalk plows would have been out and done all the sidewalks, you know, first thing in the morning like they normally do. But because it didn't snow, then they didn't come out today. And it's typical of how it works in this town. I don't know about other places. But I'm just wondering, in big cities, like Toronto or whatever, who have a whole lot more streets to do, a lot more sidewalks, less, you know, available places to put the snow when they actually plow it or blow it. How do they deal with it? You know, so it's kind of a, I don't even know. I don't even know how I would describe it, but it's just. Personally, myself, I can't really see a solution that would work for both sides. I guess would be the easiest way to put it. But all I know is on this particular day, I'm not happy. Apologize for the flag continuously blocking the camera. This has been an issue ever since I raised the light bar up. The flagpole was cut to a certain length that worked for the height that the light bar was before, but now that the light bar is higher, the flagpole is still the same length that goes down into the tube, the farther down, so when hit the wind come right direction, the flag actually blows right over the camera, as you've been seeing. So I'd like to apologize for that. I haven't got around to fixing that problem yet. feel my frustration building? I guess the best part about all this is only a temporary situation. We do have rain on the way. The temperatures are going to remain above freezing, so everything's going to melt. The rain's going to wash it all away, for the most part anyways, not completely. And then when the January thaw ends, the snow will begin again. So I just, like I do every year, just kind of deal with it as best as I can. And like I say, last year was so much nicer with the monster going through all this crap. This scooter really does not like it. So things are a little bit rough. But like I say, right now I don't have a choice. I have to go out, so I can't even just stay until conditions improve.
A disruptive winter storm from the Great Lakes to the Maritimes later this week. Our storm system will develop over the southern U.S., over Mississippi and Alabama. This region notorious for bringing some of our heaviest snow-producing storms to southern Ontario. Let's take a look at the big picture. Our system will be tracking towards southern Ontario and Atlantic Canada Friday and Saturday. Greatest impacts late Friday night and into Saturday, with primarily heavy snow across southern Ontario, some mixing for southeastern Quebec, and concern about freezing rain for parts of the Maritimes. Let's take a look at the details and the timing. Heavy snow for northern Ontario on Thursday, but it's just rain across the south with very mild temperatures. But as we head into Friday, the Arctic boundary presses to the south, and we see light rain mixing with and changing over to some ice and snow, but just rain across Atlantic Canada. But the main event arrives later Friday night into Saturday. Storm system tracking just south of the lower lakes brings a swath of heavy snow, some mixing for southeastern Quebec, and then concerned about freezing rain potentially further south than this graphic shows, around the Bay of Fundy and also for Prince Edward Island, possibly into Nova Scotia. Still some uncertainty as to where the heaviest snow will fall with this storm, but where it does occur, accumulations will be 20 to 30 plus centimeters, and right now the 401 corridor looks to be a target for the system, and also concerned about power outages where the freezing rain occurs, especially for parts of the Maritimes.
So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.